Hi, this is Joe, developer of Tabletop Soccer Redux and the original Tabletop Soccer game. I'm going to throw together a quick tutorial just to show some of the features. So I'm going to start by just showing you a practice game, just really quickly go through some of the things that you can currently do. I'll try to keep it as fast as possible. You can see the controls for the game at any time by going to the menu down here and clicking controls. They're pretty basic right now, but it just gives you like a real quick rundown of everything you can actually do. If you want to move the camera around, you can hold down the middle mouse button or the C key, which will allow you to then free rotate and tilt the camera. You can zoom in with forward and backwards. You can't currently move the camera left and right. I'm going to be adding that in soon. You can select players using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keys on the keyboard, or you can just left click on a particular player. The selected player's icon will rotate to indicate that they're selected. And whoever has the ball will always have this beam of light over the top of them so you can see them easier. When you have a player selected, you can use the arrow keys or WSAD to manually move the player around. For kicking the ball, there are several options. The most control comes from using this panel down here in the bottom right. You can choose where to kick the ball by using the left or the right mouse button. Hold it down to charge up how much power you wish to use, and then release at the point you want to kick the ball. So I'm going to use the left mouse button here and just kick it right in the center. Left mouse button is essentially just a pass along the floor. The right mouse button is more of a lob shot, where it will launch the ball somewhat into the air. You can add spin by just kicking the ball on either side. So if we just add a lot of left spin on the ball here, the ball has spin applied when it moves. The other way that you can kick the ball faster is using these quick keys Q and E. Q is set up to do a straight pass along the floor, and E is set up to do a straight lob shot. You can set waypoints by right-clicking, which will move the selected character towards that waypoint. You can set multiple waypoints by holding down the Shift key as you set waypoints. It's also possible to set kicking waypoints, holding down the Shift key, and then doing a kick. You can also do that using the quick key options of Q and E. It's also possible to set a waypoint for somebody that doesn't actually have the ball. So if we hold down Shift and kick the ball with this player, even though he doesn't have the ball yet, Terry is going to wait for the ball. Each player can perform a tackle every 20 seconds. The black skull icon that appears underneath their selected icon indicates whether they're capable of tackling right now. Use the F key to perform the tackle. You can tackle your own players or the opponent players. A player that is tackled is temporarily disabled for, I think it's like 2 or 3 seconds. And after the cooldown period has elapsed, this player will be able to tackle again. Your goalkeeper is a selectable character, just like all of your other pawns. You can use the arrow keys to move them around and set waypoints much in the same way you can for other players. The main difference is the way they stand is slightly different, and instead of rotating left and right, they strafe left and right. If you try to move a goalkeeper too far, they will automatically snap back to the center of the goal area. When a goalkeeper picks up the ball, you have 10 seconds to kick the ball before they will automatically kick the ball. Playing this game in real time is actually extremely difficult, and so there's a couple of options that I've added to the game up here, different ways to pause time. During this freestyle mode, you can use these anytime you want. The pause icon will completely pause the game, so time is frozen. You can still set waypoints and kind of set out a plan, and then when time unfreezes, that plan will be executed. The second one is this basically extremely slow time. So if you activate that, everything slows down to a fraction of normal time, making it much easier to kind of plan out what you're doing and execute the kind of maneuvers you want to do. Third option is just a slow motion option, which slows everything down to about half speed. Each of these things currently last about 10 seconds. You can configure your team from the main menu in the team button. From here you can select the names and character models, and also the different materials that are applied to the outside of the model. The first player here is always the player that will receive the ball, start with the ball when your team has the ball, and the bottom player is always your goalkeeper. You can change the formation or how your team begins by just dragging them around in here, keeping in mind that whoever is the first player will automatically be moved to the center here to receive the ball when your team actually has the ball. There are 3 different game modes in Redux currently. Redux style. In this mode, you can't manually pause time in the way that you can in some of the other modes, but periodically time will pause about every, I think it's 10 seconds at the moment, and then it unpauses for just a few seconds, and then it will pause again. The type of pause that you get is random each time, so it may be a total pause, an extremely slow down, or just slow motion. This is the mode I would recommend playing for multiplayer, especially when you're new to the game. The second style is freestyle. In freestyle mode, both you and your opponent can use these icons to pause and slow down time. There is a 20-second cooldown. Once you've activated one of these icons, you can't activate another one for about 20 seconds. The important thing to note if you're playing multiplayer games is that the total count of these icons is shared between your opponent. So if you don't use them, your opponent may use them. The last mode is original style. Original style is the most similar to the original tabletop soccer game, in that you can only actually move your pieces when the game is paused. Game automatically pauses every 10 seconds and then unpauses for a few seconds. When the game is unpaused, you just can't control anybody. Essentially, that means you can't use the WSAD and arrow keys to control players, but everything else works exactly the same. You can play multiplayer from the main screen by hitting play. This will immediately take you to the lobby page, which will show you any games which are currently being listed by other players. You can create your own game by clicking create new game, and you have the same 3 options as you do in the practice mode. You can also set the option to make it a private game, which means that it will not be listed on the main screen. Once you've created a game, like this one, you're taken to the lobby page where we're just waiting for an opponent to arrive. From here, you can use the Steam invite feature and just invite friends directly into the game, or somebody else can see the game and then join. Once both players have been connected via Steam peer-to-peer, you can click the ready icon and the game begins.